wind turbine time. So, I got this because I noticed that the solar obviously isn't doing its business nowadays. The van's pretty good actually. I generally use very little power on an evening in the van, and diesel heater and lights mainly, maybe music and just charging things. So it's a very low current draw. So over the summer actually I found that I've been fairly off-grid, self-sufficient, so that's been pretty good. But we've not got the sun now, so I thought I'd pick up one of these. It was a couple of £100, and I don't need a massive turbine. This is a 500 watt thing, yeah, no, that should be fine. And it's really just to, if I can get anything out of it, it's going to be enough for my purposes. You know, I've not got a big telly running or any kind of that carry on. So you know, if you're looking for something like this to power quite a lot of things, you've got fridges and whatnot, you know, probably forget it. You're going to end up with quite a big turbine. This is pretty small, this thing, and cheap, so it'll certainly do what I need to do. So the plan is I don't want a great big frame or anything like that to support it, because you've got to mount this thing. So what I'm planning to do is have it fairly flexible, like everything I do. So either mount to the van or mount away from the van, and a couple of things I'm going to use to do that. So I'm going to use this extendable tactical mast that just happened to have lying around in the shed. Can't remember how far it goes up, maybe 6 metres, something like that, might be wrong. It doesn't matter, I'm not going to fire it up loads anyway. And going to mount the turbine to the top of this thing, and it's I could either bolt this to the ladders or lash it to the ladders at the back of the van, or have it away from the van. So that's a fairly flexible solution. We'll go back into that in a second. Aye, so I can just lash that to that ladder there. That's cool. And when it's on the van, you know, that's going to be plenty strong enough. Don't need to muck around with any kind of mounts on the roof. The second thing I want to... Sorry, I had to cut that there. I've got one of these gimbal things to make things a bit smoother, and also sort of muck around with some sort of video making in general. And I haven't got a clue how it works. It just fucks off, you know, pans in the other direction. So anyway, so the other thing that I'm going to use to make this fairly flexible is my hookup cables. So the turbine is an AC output, 3-phase. So there's 3 wires coming out the bottom of the turbine, and they go to a little charge controller, and then it's 2 wires DC that come out that to the batteries. So if this is away from the van, I also want everything connectorized, because I don't want to have to arse around with connector blocks and stuff like that. You know, everything's got to be sort of click, you know. So I thought, well, I'll just use my hookup cables. I've got 2 hookup cables, 2.5 mil, so they're square mil, sorry, so they're, you know, big conductors in there, big conductors in here, and so it means that I can, using a larger conductor size, which I do in these anyway, just because they're a bit tougher, not that the van needs it for hookup, it means that I can run a longer distance of these between the turbine and the charge controller, because basically the resistance is going to be lower with a larger conductor size, so that's going to work quite well. So back to the box. These are the 3 conductors coming from the generator in there, and then there's this Chinese sort of thing here, charge controller. So the three green wires connect into the AC output from the 3-phase output from the turbine, and then our red and black goes to our battery. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do a review on this turbine. I don't know what it's like. You know, it's probably all right. It's not going to be the best, and there's plenty of other videos on the net about that. But so yeah, we're really looking at, you know, making this an easy sort of quick setup and teardown for you know, camper van or whatever sort of other needs, you know, you may have for quickly throwing up a big turbine. So got a 34 or 38 mil diameter shaft here. That's in a bearing. So just in case of getting a tube here, drilling 2 holes in it to mount these on, and then connecting these down to an adapter for a hookup cable, so that's going to be easy enough. I've got a bit of aluminium pole here. Aluminium is preferable. Unfortunately, I should have gone to that well-known spectacle shop, because it's a larger diameter. When I pinched it, I thought it was going to be okay for this, but I'm going to use this just now anyway, and I'll drill the 2 holes in it. It's not going to matter too much at the moment. You do want a good seal here, because you don't want water pissing down here into your electrical connections, which are, probably going to be inside the tube there. So, but for proof of concept just now, that's going to work absolutely fine. Okay, so sack the gimbal. I'm going to attach the pole to the mast there, as using steel plates here. So I'm just going to drill these out, and these are going to take U-bolts. These are easy to do if you're as a crossover plate, but joining them together, I'm probably going to have to use oversized U-bolts somewhere along the line for the moment. But yeah, I got plenty of U-bolts lying around, and then they fit in there, so I have got choices here. And they fit nicely around there, so these are around 12 U-bolts, they're fine. Incidentally, so your mast doesn't have to be anything as fancy as this. You can pick these up on eBay, which is quite cool, but you could just get scaff tubes that slot into each other, as long as you guy it correctly. I've just stuck one level of guys on at the moment, just to hold it vertical so I can work on it, but I would expect to probably have another set on. And again, it doesn't have to be anything too mental. You don't need lots of hardware. This is held up with some heavy duty sort of tent peg things, which I'll probably, anchors will depend on your ground and your preference. I'll probably make up some angle iron ones as well, but these are great just now. And all I've got here is 3 bits of paracord, 4mm paracord, a noose knot there, and that's probably a scaff knot, that noose there, and then just runs down through the peg and back up to a trucking hitch, which allows me to tension it. You don't need a complicated guy arrangement. This stuff, if you can get the tension into it, has got easily enough breaking strain. You just want to keep away from sharp edges here. So if you're doing this without, I've obviously got a ridge here to stop these coming down. If you're doing this just on a straight scaff pole, probably maybe a Jubilee clip around here, but open it up and put a bit of garden hose around it so it creates a soft edge, and then that'll just clamp there. And then you can put your guys over the top there, and it's just to stop them sliding down that this collar here does. So yeah, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Incidentally, these DeWalt drill bits are really fucking good. They've got this kind of strange end on, and they're even better if you're not paying for the damn things. They cost a fortune. But if you're using a cordless drill and you're out in the field, or you really just can't be arsed, you've got loads of holes to drill, these just really eat them and worth every penny. What I normally do though, because the failure is quite often this bit in the end, which drills a pilot. So I put a 3 or 4mm pilot hole through that, lubricate it as well. This cut and paste is really good. You get it from places. But yeah, so we'll just toss some more holes through here. If you're not sure how to drill holes of metal, you're probably watching the wrong video, partner. Bastard. Fuck's sake, best laid plans. These are brittle. Jesus. I'll need to add the cost of that to somebody's bill. Of course, the good thing about using a pilot hole is when you're if your drill bit snaps, if and when, it's going to happen at some point. I just wasn't paying attention. You can evacuate the part of the drill bit out of the hole. If I was blind drilling this, that's going to be a huge problem to drill that. But I'll just punch this out, left with the pilot hole, and carry on with a different bit. So after all the hole drilling fuckery is completed, I've bolted all this together now. I've put a couple of spacers in here to stand this off, because it's got to clear these ridges. Obviously if you're just using sort of aluminium tube slotted into each other, whatever, you're not going to have this issue, but not a problem anyway. So that's it all bolted together, that's quite nice. Here's the thing on here. Until I get another correct diameter tube with a 38mm ID inside there, I'll just chuck a bit of self-mal tape in there. But this is essentially ready to wire up, so that'll be the next video, is getting this hooked up. I'll show you my electrical arrangement. Stay tuned.